What is up, guys? It is Simba here, and welcome back to the channel for another league racing video on F1 24. And today we're going to be starting a brand new season in CSS Competitive Speed Series. But if you haven't seen the last race, which I've uploaded nearly 2 weeks ago now, it was in Las Vegas. I highly recommend you go check that one out before you see this one. It was an absolute banger of a race, and I think you guys will enjoy it. It's done pretty well as well, and we're back with another one back in Australia as well. So if you're looking forward to this one, make sure you hit the like button and get subscribed for more league racing content. Sorry about the big gap in between the videos. I have been pretty busy with university, handing in assignments I don't feel like doing at least 90% of the time. So it's been quite a while since the last one, but we're back and we're looking to do a pretty good job in Australia. Obviously, we did this race in COT when I started the season there, but we're hoping to do a good job in qualifying. As you can see, we have invalidated the first run, which isn't ideal, but we had fuel for 2 laps because I wasn't feeling too confident about this one. I actually was showing some pretty good pace, but as you've seen in the last few videos, we've been struggling to convert that confidence into the actual thing, and you can see that there. We invalidated again, this time near the end of the lap, and we haven't got a banker lap in. We're one of the few cars to not do that, so it's not a great start, and now we're on a 3rd lap now, and you can see we've just got just under half the session to go, and basically what that does is, it puts so much pressure on you getting that clean lap in, and you just feel like you're 1 or 2 steps behind everyone else for the rest of the session, and it does mess up your mental game as well. And we crossed the line.
I drove that lap like I didn't know how to drive this track.
What did you do?
Me. I don't want to talk about it. It's 15. Oh, thanks, Chelsea. Thanks, pal.
So there's a reaction to that, and you're going to see why we were so slow. You can see that one of our sets of tyres were at 16%, and I'm about to make that realization here.
Oh, that's why I was so slow. I didn't change my bloody tyres. Oh no. Oh, that is dramatically unserious. Fucking hell, I can't believe I did not notice that. Right.
And that is not ideal. Quite a bit of a noob mistake here. You can see we're only P18, and I'll get to that in a second, but let's see if we can lift ourselves off the bottom row. We're down to 20th. That's the only person not to do a lap. So we're going to need this one. And this time, we want a fresh set of tyres.
Right, we need this one.
Let's give this a go and see if we can lift ourselves off the bottom row. Into turn 1 we go, down to 5th. It wasn't exactly the most speed going through there, but nonetheless, it looked really relatively clean, and we've gained just about 0.07 of a second. Hitting the brakes now for turn number 3. Nicely done. Through 4, you swing the car from left to right, and it's actually been a pretty good first sector. And we're 2/10 up on the delta, so we have done a 0.1 in the first sector, but through turn 6, we have a massive moment there. We turned in just a bit too early, and as a result, that's going to cost us some time, and it ruins your momentum through this entire straight. So that's probably a good 10th, maybe a 10th and a half, scraped off the delta, sending it through the chicane. Very easy to invalidate. We managed to keep it clean this time, and we are now 4/10 up on the delta, but as you can see, it's not exactly the improvement that I'm looking for at this point in time. Making sure we're just getting this last sector clean. Another moment there on the curb, and that's going to hurt us as well. As now we're just trying to close out this lap because we need this lap. A bit of a moment again going through the final corner, and this lap has not been great, and it reflects as we cross the line.
Oh my god. Wow. That was even worse.
And that was game over. We spun on the last run. I don't want to show that. But we are last. P20. And this is on me because A, we couldn't put a lap together to save our lives. And B, CSS has just moved to cross-platform now. So the grid is much more competitive. And I completely underestimated it, considering that CSS wasn't the most serious tournament for the team last season. But this is a massive wake-up call. And we're doing a last to first in Australia. So let's get into this race. A poor session for me again, and that just shows where the confidence is in qualifying. But you score points in the race, I believe it's the top 15 that score points, and we're going to do it by using the hards to start off with. So let's see what we can do. Qualifying has not gone to plan again, but let's see what we can do in the race. 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix, and the lights are out, and we are underway in Albert Park once more, and it's not the greatest getaway, but we're going to take things nice and easy going into the first 2 corners. You can see we're just getting tucked in behind the Haas here as we go through turn 2, and now we're going to try and make our first move of the day. You can see several cars going side by side in front of us, including our teammate MVR Chelsea. We go round the outside of the Haas, so up to P19 we go, and we've got our teammate just ahead of us, who was only just a few places ahead of us in qualifying. So as a team, we didn't really do the best of the jobs in qualifying. Both of us not really maximising our PBs and the session overall. As you can see, Chelsea's ghosting about, but he's going to stay in P18 for the remainder of the lap. So lap 1, we've gained a place, we've not got damage, and we can push on from here. So on to lap number 2, DRS is enabled. And judging by the title, it'll become quite important as Chelsea has a huge spin out of turn 1. He put the throttle down too hard and he's gone off straight for a spin.
Chelsea, mate,
he's got damage, and that's his race effectively in the bin.
Oh, Quantum's got damage.
And meanwhile, you can see Addis and the McLaren there, both getting past Quantum, both shoving their way through, and that's because he's got damage. Now, this is something I don't quite understand in the current landscape of league racing. You see people get damage in the opening laps, and for some reason, they make a decision in their brain to say, you know what, I'm going to stay out even though I've got damage. Now, it makes no sense. You can see he's trying to challenge the McLaren through the fast chicane. That ruins both of their runs out of there. And now we're going to try and replicate WR at the start of this game, going onto the grass as we're looking to make 2 passes in one go. Can we get the move done on Quantum? Not quite. He just shuts the door on us through turn 11. A lot of space and respect between us there. But you can see as a result of that, we've lost the train already as we're trying to set up a move for the main straight. And this is exactly why the title is what it is. DRS is massive around here.
Yeah,
there are 1, 2, 3, 4 detection points. And if you don't have DRS, you're going to be leaking time through all of them. We do get past Quantum. We pick up a careless warning in the process as we're trying to get back in the train again. And it's going to be paramount that we do so. Otherwise, we're just going to get left behind. We're not even in the points-paying positions yet. But you can see there's a car recovering from a spin. And that is EVR Mattis. And I could have ghosted through him there, but we decided to do the right thing, the sporting thing, and let him recover. But you can see, I don't think he's going to get DRS on this back straight. And he actually has, thankfully. So it actually allows us to charge up the battery because we had to use quite a lot after Quantum lost us DRS on the second lap. So it wasn't ideal, but we've got a second warning now and we're only 4 laps in. So obviously it's going to be really difficult to stay within track limits, especially in the races. Australia, the track limits are judged by the yellow line and not the white line, and it's very easy to get a warning or invalidate, as we did a few times in qualifying. So on to lap 5, we've managed to charge up the battery, but unfortunately Mattis has not got DRS on the cars in front. So now we're going to have to pass him and make sure that we work hard to get back in the train. Otherwise, we're all just going to get left behind here. You can see Quantum is also challenging us as well, and I don't want to be behind him for another lap. So we're going to pass Mattis, and crucially, Quantum follows him through as well, despite the fact he's got damage. So that makes a lot of sense. League Racing Etiquette 101. We move up to 15th place on lap 5. So we are in the points-paying positions on the 5th lap of the race. So that's the frustrating thing here. You can see we spent a few laps outside of DRS, but we actually have managed to work hard and get back in. You can see the Ferrari there of AMR Carrasco. He's just hanging on to the train as well, but we're in as well, and that's the main thing.
Your pace is already good, so
Yeah, I've just managed to get back in the train now. But I think we might lose it again.
you're doing all you can.
And you can hear me talking with my engineer, FRT Harvey. And he's telling me that my pace is really good. And that was really encouraging because my pace didn't actually... It felt pretty solid when I was practicing. And it's good that we're carrying this out into the real thing. But I was a bit worried that we were going to lose DRS. You can see penalties are stacking up as well. But unfortunately, Carrasco retreats to the pits.
Yeah, of course he's in. Brilliant. Fuck's sake. It's just written in the stars, isn't it, man?
And that is the moment where our race is ruined. Because as you can see, Carrasco was just hanging on to the train in front of us. And now we've lost it again. And unfortunately, we've got a 3-second penalty on lap 11. And penalties were actually starting to stack up in between the laps. But so keeping it clean was the order of the day. But unfortunately, we got 2 early warnings. And that felt pretty inevitable. But unfortunately, we've lost all touch with the cars in front now. You can see the gap is nearly 5 seconds to the RB as we move up to P9. As people are pitting, we get our 4th warning onto lap 14. And the idea now is just try not to get 6 seconds. We're up to P9 because medium runners are pitting really early, as the medium tyres aren't exactly a great race tyre around here. But it's really depressing. You can see we're in no man's land as we pick up another warning on the same lap. So we're not really being disciplined here. We are getting left behind by the cars in front. We're pulling away from the cars behind us. We are in no man's land, and mistakes are clearly starting to kick in. I remember telling Harvey halfway through this race that I just feel like I'm in no man's land at the moment. As you can see, it's looking quite lonely. So obviously this is not our true position. We're going to have a few more medium runners boxing in between the laps. But pace, again, was feeling pretty decent. We've done a high 19 there, as the tyres are starting to go off at this point. We get turn 1 slightly wrong, and that's another penalty. And that is 6 seconds now. And you can watch it back. I tried to slow down, but the game still gave us a penalty. And that is the harsh reality of it now. We're up to P5 by lap 17. But you can see that Tony Richet, who's gone from PC to console for whatever reason, he pitted on lap 13. 4 laps later, he is on the back of us. So that's how far back we are in this race compared to the front runners. And we can't really do much at this point. We can just let them go, and that's it. That's all we can do. And also, that's allowed Quantum to stay with us as well. To be fair, Quantum's pace was actually pretty decent, considering he got damage in the opening lap or so. So I bet he'll be kicking himself as well. It's an opportunity missed. But I was about 2 seconds ahead, but thanks to these guys carrying Quantum with him, he's back with us. But
I'm going to go one more similar.
Yep.
He's basically back within our range now, as me and Harvey are discussing strategy pretty briefly there at the end of lap 18. And all we can do is go one more lap and then box. And I don't really know where I'm going to come out, because we're so far behind the cars in front. And, you know, some people who pitted early are going to probably get track position over us. So it is looking quite bleak. And that is the effect of not having DRS at the start of the race. Everyone just pulls away and you just get left behind, as there are so many DRS zones. And that is basically the harsh reality of racing around here. And yeah, all we can do now is put on a set of medium tyres. We're going to see what we can do in the final 11, 12-ish laps. And you can see how far ahead everyone else is. We've come out of the pits, we're P16, and we are allowed to cut through the pit exit. So don't mention any of that in the comments. As you can see, we've got this Haas behind us now, putting pressure on us already, as he's looking to grab a position. And we're going to try and fend him off here, because I don't really want to spend my outlap behind a car on older tyres. But we do get ahead. But you can see the gap to BRT Thomas. You know, it's just literally bridging on 10 seconds, which is mental how much time we have been losing over the laps without DRS. So there's not much to be, you know, racing for at this point. We are in the points, and we do set a personal best of an 18-0. Pace was feeling pretty decent on the medium tyres, as they were pretty much some of the freshest tyres in the field. We do have a gap to Quantum, who repaired his wing for damage, and we are catching up to EVE Mattis as well, who has dropped out of the train. So we are fighting one car here towards the end of the race. We just missed out getting DRS on this lap, but we are going to get it at the start of the next one. We just need to set up these last few corners, and we'll be sorted. You can see we've got way more grip in Sector 3. He's flashing as well, and I don't imagine this one being very difficult. DRS, bit of overtake. We don't use too much ERS. We're on hot lap there, as we breeze our way through, and that is us up into P14 in this Australian Grand Prix. But that was basically the race. You can see we are 10 seconds off the next car. I was catching up to Carrasco. In the end, he was dropped out along with his teammate. And we are catching up to Lifeboat, who apparently has lost his front wing.
Why is he still driving with no front wing? That makes no sense.
Probably lost in less than it would cost if he pit. Because there was only like 4 laps left.
So I imagine Lifeboat was basically near the front of the field. And unfortunately, he's got damage 4 laps ago. I don't really know why he just didn't pit again. I don't get why people stay out with damage. You can see we're making an absolute meal of passing him here. We go round the outside, but there's a bit of contact on the way out. It's far from my cleanest overtake, but we are up into P13 now. And we're going to see if we can pull away 6 seconds in just a couple of sectors. So, unfortunately, we timed this a bit wrong because he is going to get DRS on this straight. We did gap him just now, but I was hoping we would catch up to Carrasco right near the end. I think I got another 1 or 2 warnings as well in between the laps, but that's not really going to matter. As you can see, we pulled away a lot through that chicane. He's clearly a lack of downforce for him with that front wing damage, and that must have been a very long 4 laps for him. And the winner of the race, no surprise, is Joe Murphy, and he wins the Australian Grand Prix. And for us, it's been a long race. We did our best, but losing DRS around here is absolutely brutal, and we definitely felt it here. It is P13. We were 3 seconds shy of gapping Lifeboat, but yeah, pretty tough race, and it wasn't obviously my best. We did the best we could do with all the circumstances we went through, but yeah, there you go. It was a very competitive grid. That's my fault for underestimating how competitive the grid was going to be for CSS. So that's a wake-up call for me, personally. Qualifying, again, I think since World in Bahrain, the confidence has kind of just been drained in qualifying. I just can't really get a lap right after we got that horrendously wrong. And with the setups as well, being understeery, I don't really like that either. But yeah, we did the best we could. But losing DRS around here, it was absolutely curtains from there. We did our best. We ended up 14th. So we do collect 2 points in this video. So we do get points in the CSS opener, but it's not what we wanted. And I'm going to make sure that the next time I race, I'm going to work hard and make sure that this doesn't happen again. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Sorry for the massive gap between the videos. I'm going to try and be as consistent as I can, but racing isn't really happening as often as it was a few weeks ago. But make sure you hit the like button, get subscribed for more content. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one.